Welcome to Wednesday. It's June 21st, 2023. Yes, it's the first official day of summer, at least when it comes to what it says on the calendar. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you today by Cowboy State Daily. Well, folks, we have a severe weather threat really increasing, not only today, but over the next 3 days in some parts of the Rocky Mountain West and the Western High Plains. We got a little bit of a taste of that yesterday in parts of east central and northeastern Wyoming, the northern panhandle of Nebraska, and up into the Dakotas. Some big towering cumulonimbus clouds, beautiful thunderstorm photos rolled in yesterday evening from folks, and we're going to see this pattern, these big thunderstorms, becoming more widespread here in the coming days. Now, for you folks that are on the western side of the divide, where you've been cooler and kind of damp over the last few days, drier air is moving into areas there. Now, on the other side of the mountains is where the weather action is going to be. All the right parameters are coming together. On the ground, high in the atmosphere with the winds and the humidity and where the temperature parameters are for severe weather. It's not a matter, are we going to have severe weather? We will. In parts of eastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, and northeastern Colorado for the next 3 days. Today in particular, the highest threat of severe weather is going to be along and east of the Front Range areas, especially along and east of I-25, but along the eastern sections of I-80, Interstate 90, I-70 as well here in the coming days. This is a situation where you get big hail. We did have some large hail with some of these thunderstorms yesterday, but large hail, very heavy rain, and tornado activity is likely. We'll show you why that's going to be. So this is the day where having a garage is a really great idea, or maybe putting that boat or the RV or the car somewhere if you're going to be in this area, and we'll show you where we think it's going to be. It'd be a good idea to do that. Now, after the system moves further east, drier air does come in for the weekend, and things will be settling down by the weekend. Just spectacular photo there, east-northeast of Douglas last night. Thank Mitch for sending that on in, and we're going to see this scenes like this here over the next 3 days across the high plains. Beautiful rainbow after the fact as well. So with the bad, you get the good. And also very wet conditions. Matt says this is his wettest year he has seen in the northern Bighorns in the past 9 years, and it is still very, very green out there, and will continue that way here for a little bit longer. The satellite imagery today shows quite a bit going on here. These blue and green areas here are the remains of thunderstorms that developed last night out across the Dakotas, central and eastern areas of Nebraska, and some of those were severe, and we did have severe weather with those. Here's a good fetch of subtropical moisture coming up from the southwest. You can see the moisture here. Dry air coming in. This is what's going to be coming in over the weekend. What you can't see in this water vapor photo right here is down closer to the ground. Winds on the surface are coming up from the east-southeast up into the Front Range. We've got some areas of low clouds and fog that have developed out on the plains this morning. That's because humidity is increasing from the south and east. And when we take a look at the upper level pattern here, it doesn't look like much, does it? Why does it not look like there should be a bunch of severe weather today? But when you get into severe weather with thunderstorms, it becomes the little things working with the bigger scale things that really are the right ingredients, the right pieces of the puzzle to make severe weather come together. So this is very idealized, but what I want you to look at here is the fact that we have a fairly strong wind aloft coming up from the southwest. And we're going to represent this green arrow with that southeast moisture flow coming up from the south and east. So right now, we are looking at moisture flow, counterclockwise spin around this low right here. And we are also looking at moisture flowing up from just a lot of humidity that just naturally resides down there. At the same time, we have this strong southwest wind aloft. There it is right there in this yellow area. Now, when you have a trough of low pressure, the air high in the atmosphere is colder. So you have colder air that is coming in, represented by the blue arrow. See where there's a convergence of these arrows right here? Strong winds aloft, moist flow of air coming in from the southeast to basically add fuel to the situation. And when you have cold air aloft coming in, the heat of the day causes rising motions in the air. The colder it is aloft, the higher those rising motions will go, or the taller the thunderstorms will grow. The strong winds aloft help that thunderstorm to grow as well. The cold air aloft makes for a good environment for hail to form, and that's why we've got a lot of things going on right now. Also, the green and the yellow arrow call what we call shear, where the wind directions are opposite or opposing at different levels. So high up, the winds are from the southwest, but down low, the winds are from the southeast. So they're not diametrically opposed, but there's basically shear going on, and that adds to a lot of things that will help these thunderstorms get going. And by noon today, you can see the precipitable water is kind of gathering and pooling in this area right here. So with all those parameters coming together, you're going to be looking at a target area where these severe thunderstorms are going to be. So this is the lightning forecast by mid to late afternoon. And you can see it'll be this area right here, but also up in North Dakota where there's going to be severe weather, down here in Texas and Oklahoma as well. When you take a look at the fact that these thunderstorms are going to keep going into the night, this is between 6 p.m. and midnight. So these thunderstorms, some severe, may go into the nighttime hours, and even by tomorrow morning, there's going to be activity. So they're going to start this afternoon, and the threat of thunderstorms are going to be going into the overnight hours. And notice, a lot of this is long and east of the Front Range, while west of the Divide, drier conditions are going to be developing. And here's the risk for severe weather today, especially in that yellow area. But when you look at the areas that are going to have the highest threat of severe weather, that black cross-hatching there is the highest risk of large hail today. That's the area where hail has the biggest chance of forming. Climatologically speaking, that's exactly where you have some of the highest incidents of hail throughout the course of the year. Eastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, northeast Colorado. The other shades show where the risk is there as well. So if you live in these areas, you really need to watch out for a high risk of hail today and do what you can to protect things. If you do that, maybe that will make the thunderstorms go away, because we are going to have big hail today, especially in these areas. But there is a high risk of tornadic activity as well due to that shear area, that wind from the southeast near the ground and the wind aloft from the southwest. That is a really good environment to generate the possibility of tornado activity. So you're going to see a lot of severe storm weather chasers out in this region here for the next couple of days. Now, this doesn't stop. This is for tomorrow. The thunderstorm development tomorrow, again, is in a similar area because the pattern is very, very slow to change. So here's the risk of severe weather tomorrow. Again, that Front Range of southeastern Wyoming and into northern Colorado. Hail is going to be another big threat on Thursday as well. Then as we get on into Friday, the trough, notice it's still back over northwest Utah, southern Idaho there. It's beginning to move a little bit more, but basically it's a similar environment. Southeast winds there, strong northwest winds aloft, cold air aloft comes in from the low, and it all converges on the same area. So this is for Friday. Notice there's a bit more west of the Divide on Friday. Showers and thunderstorms pick up, but the Front Range areas are going to really be in the bullseye over the next 3 days. So this is a period of time over the next 3 days where if you're an insurance agent, you're kind of dreading what's going to be going on here. Now, this is the severe weather threat for Friday. So you can see that for 3 days in a row, the same general area will have a lot of activity. Have yourself a good Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get through the next 24 hours with nothing too bad. But keep your eyes to the skies today.